This video will likely be a bit painful for Gnostic Informant in particular, I think. But these guys have really been bullshitting heavily about this whole neaniskos thing. I mean, they're terrified that the dude is young. I don't think Gnostic is, but the other guys are terrified. They want the guy to be old. They want the guy to be Radar's age. And so they talk about him, and I'll show you what Gnostic did in a couple seconds. Gnostic and the boys, they want him to be like a bearded man. Because if you're 25 years old, back in year 33 AD, you likely have a beard. You got facial hair. So these guys are basically saying that Jesus was with a naked 25-year-old man being guarded by Peter, John, and James, who had swords. So why was Jesus in a park with a naked 25-year-old man being guarded by guys with swords? Why is that, guys? So they really can't take that. And the reason why they can't take it, and the reason why they fell into this trap of their own, because they literally fell into their own trap, right? They're terrified of the purple hoo-ha story and it being a kid with all that, Jeffrey Epstein-like stuff going on. So they can't take it. So the other issue for them, why they can't take it, and I think this is really probably what it is, probably financial, but it's also the fact that these guys all had and still have to some degree, most likely, Christian brain damage syndrome, which is very, very, you should watch these videos. This is a good one too. And this is a good one too, because, I mean, I could have put all these guys up here. I mean, these guys are the clown. The clown world of Christianity is unbelievable. And if you look at it carefully, they really do have a functional brain damage syndrome situation. And that is the case for these guys too. And that's really weird, right? Because these guys can handle the fact that Elephantine is a real deal. And this means that Gnostic, Myth, Carrier, all their buddies, and Hillman, and Gad Barnea, and Jonathan Adler, and all these guys that they've had on, anyway, all these guys that they had on, all agree that nothing existed before 300 BC. Run, Kip, Run told Danny Jones, what was written before 300 BC for Hebrew? Not a ton, which is, of course, a non-scholar answer. It should be virtually nothing. And that's the truth. So it looks like this Bible was written at the same time, whether it be Hebrew first, Greek first, doesn't make any difference. And that doesn't make any difference either, because if it's fake, who gives a shit? That's the other thing these guys cannot seem to handle. So regarding the current issue, the only Hillman is saying, there's some evil Pinocchio Jesus action taking place. And these other guys can only look at the Bible if Jesus is the excellent, innocent Pinocchio. So the guys, besides Hillman, they know Jesus was a fake God, but they want Jesus to be a fake good guy God. They hate the idea of what Hillman says. So their position is Jesus was not a fake bad guy God, like Hillman says. So the only difference between these guys are the clowns that argue with Hillman can't take the bad guy God Jesus story. They can't take it. Really stunning, really stunning. And it's the case for all these guys. This is the real issue right here. Here they're talking about the naked dude, right? Suggesting not just molestation, but a more sinister ritual taking place where the neonisko had his hoo-ha wrapped with a medicated purple bandage. And that's the real issue for these guys. They fear the purple penis. And that causes these boys to run, run, run. They only want nice Pinocchio. They don't want any purple penis action at all. Now, whether the penis was purple or not, the fact is that there was a penis that was unwrapped, no matter if the guy was 12 or 20. And that should be the issue, but they can't take it. And now they can Gnostic. Or I guess Gnostic could before he rejoined the brothel. So this is Gnostic misinforming witch doctor. So look what he says here. He focuses. This is his big thing. See? So Gnostic is saying, look, the naked man with the beard was 28 years old. Does Gnostic realize that he said that? He probably doesn't. And the reason why he doesn't is because, I think it has to do with the whole, what I just described, the whole Christian brain damage syndrome to varying degrees. Plus, whatever. I don't know. How the fuck do I know? But this is what these guys cannot take, that he was young, in the Epstein young kind of thing. So they just have to run. They run, run, run. So Carrier also said, you can see, so Gnostic, 28 years of age, here we are. 15 to 30. Indeed, neaniskos, the term neaniskos, routinely referred to men of military age. And by the way, the neoniskos was sunakaluthē. That's what it says in the original Mark. And sunakaluthē is a military regimented language. So no matter the age of the neonisko, he was following Jesus in a attending, serving, military regimented fashion. So now Carrier says, military age, this is well settled in the scholarship. See, this is like a spell word for these guys. Scholarship is the spell word for these fake Bible scholars because it makes them feel good about themselves. So let's go to the reference, and here it is. You can see neaniskos. This is right. You can link to it right from this guy's website or his blog I just showed you. Okay, so here's the age. And so some scholars equate it to neaniskos to what? To puberty. So some scholars equate neaniskos to puberty. 16 to 30, 2029, 25, 30. Jesus was therefore with a bearded man, a naked bearded man, while he was being guarded by 3 younger teenagers, maybe Peter was 20, with swords. So why was Jesus being guarded by sworded neaniskos while he was with an older, naked neaniskos with a beard? See, that's what these guys don't realize, the corner that they put themselves into because of their lack of proper training is probably the best way to look at it. So here's Run Kip Run explaining that he's sort of basically going here about how Jesus is sort of like, hey, what are you arresting me for? He's taking the position of a believer here because Run Kip Run still has his Christian brain damage syndrome in there, meaning he can only handle Jesus being the good guy God. Poor Run Kip Run cannot handle Jesus being a bad Pinocchio God in certain respects because it just kills his mojo. And they have to answer a lot more questions. And they don't want to do that because they lack skills. So neither one of these guys can handle the fact that the kid, this was since 1500. And Run Kip Run hallucinated this to be a burial shroud in this video. It's mind-boggling. What BS, right? A burial shroud. So these guys can't take it. None of them can. It's a man in a burial shroud. It's not this picture from 1500. It's a man. And this guy actually said it's a man in a burial shroud or a tunic. Who else can't take this? This guy can't take it, and neither can this guy. This guy doesn't even know what the word Christon means. It's unbelievable. These clowns, these friggin' clowns. The clownery is incredible. So we got to move it over and ask them some questions. So here are the questions. Are you ready, guys? Here are the questions for you. We're going to go with your age. The dude's 25 years old. 25 years old was this guy. This is, for the last, 500 years, this has been wrong. He wasn't a prepubescent boy or a close to puberty boy. He was a 25-year-old bearded man. So, 10 fake scholars, why was Jesus with a naked 15 to 30-year-old male in the middle of the night in the Garden of Gethsemane? What was he doing there? And he would have been the 33-year-old Jesus, and there would have been the naked dude and the other 3 guys who were there. How old were they? Well, under 20. So if it was very obvious that Jesus was 33, a bearded 33-year-old man, and they all know who Jesus was, why did Judas show up and deliver to Jesus a sensuous make-out kiss in the garden? And this is from the Interlinear Bible. This word means what? Kiss earnestly. This isn't like in the lexicon. This is right out of the Interlinear Bible Hub that Judas and Jesus had a make-out session, caressing, tenderly kissing. Why was that going on, guys? Why was that going on? See, these guys can't handle this at all. That's why they're obfuscating with everything else they can obfuscate with. You should read Carrier's bullshit blog. It's pure obfuscation to avoid all of this, including, why did Jesus say, why are you coming at me like I'm a lace-tace or a human predator? Why did he say that versus astasiastes or stasiaston, which would be an insurrectionist. So this is what these guys can't handle because of either dishonesty, lack of ethics, rollover Christian brain damage syndrome. I'm not sure. No matter what it is, they need to go examine their shadows, a la Carl Jung.